All right, loads of people on the conservative front are coming after Allie Beth Stuckey, and you never guess why they're coming after her. They thought that she was preaching to men because she said something that is actually right and wise, and something that Charlie Kirk would often say to a lot of boys. But hey, because a woman said it, it's so outrageous. Women should not be preaching to men, except she wasn't preaching to men. She was doing a talk at Turning Point USA. It'd be like, for example, the detransitioner Chloe Cole getting up there and sharing her testimony and saying the exact same thing. Men need to quit corn. Don't watch it. It's bad. It's destructive. What, you're going to come after Chloe Cole for saying the exact same thing that Allie Beth Stuckey was saying and that Charlie Kirk says? Oh, women should not be teaching and preaching to men. And I would agree. In a church setting, this is not a church setting. What this is Allie Beth Stuckey was invited to speak at an event, and people would pay to go. Or they would be in a university or college campus, right? They don't have to pay to be there. They'll just be there. And they're listening to her talk. She's not preaching. She's not teaching. She's giving a speech. And all of her wisdom should be shared. Now, lots of people also have a gripe about how Allie Beth Stuckey has a major platform, a podcast, and women should just be silent. They should just be, very, very quiet. In nowadays, we've changed all of that. Conservatism has shifted and been flipped on its head. And, the thing is, I'm not against women having podcasts. Do I think that all women should have podcasts? No, I don't. Not everyone should have one, by the way, just so you're aware of that. That's what my personal belief system is. But Allie Beth Stuckey is a very different case. She is a very smart, wise woman. And I think all of us should be grateful that she's got a voice in conservatism at the moment, and she's fighting the good fight for the Lord Jesus Christ. She's in the fight too. And loads of people look up to her, like myself. Do I feel like she was preaching or lecturing me? No. What I thought was, she's right. Just because she's a woman doesn't make anything that she said wrong. So, Jay, what in the world did she say that was so outrageous that she shouldn't be speaking about men's issues? Look, this is not just a man's issue. When it comes to pornography, this is a human issue. Male and female have issues in this area. And Charlie Kirk used to talk about it all the time, specifically to young men, because lots of young men have issues with it. And I myself in the past did struggle with it. Okay, I write about it in my book, The Path of an Eagle, which, by the way, you can get. Link is available in the show description in case you're wondering what my story is all about. But I struggled with it. It was not easy to get over it. And look, there are lots of young boys out there that Charlie would talk nonstop. All Allie Beth is doing is relaying the same thing that Charlie relayed, because Charlie's no longer here to relay it. It'd be like his wife relaying the same thing. Be like Chloe Cole. Any woman that is on the stage, it'd be like them doing it. But Turning Point USA is not a church. It's not. It's a conference, it'd be like, for example, I'm at school for something, and you had a woman come up and share her testimony. Same thing. But because it's a woman, it's bad. The David D. Edgerton. Sorry, I didn't sleep last night, guys. She can't help herself. She'll find a way to preach to men. She's a feminist in conservative garb. Men counsel men, period. Men preach to men, period. Allie Beth goes, me at a campus event. Men, you are necessary. You need your strength. You need to be strong leaders and solid pastors. You are better than corn. Unhinged critics. This is feminism. And again, I have to side with Allie Beth. This is not church. This is a conference. It's a campus event. Big difference. Have a watch of what she had to say that blew up the internet.
Feminism has failed women. Second one, are you ready? Are you ready? Has weakened men. And Charlie was so good at talking about this and so good at talking so courageously and sternly and clearly to the young men. Here's what we know about porn and why it is so detrimental, not only to men, although it disproportionately affects men. Porn objectifies women and children. It commercializes sex, which is a gift from God for a married couple between one man and one woman, and it glorifies violence. It creates addiction and shame. It destroys marriages. It ruins your perception of other people. It is the legal loophole for sex trafficking. It is evil in every way, and it will destroy your life. And this is what I would want to say to men, and I hope that you hear it from strong men in your life, that men, we need you. And we need your masculinity, and we need your strength, and we need your boldness, and we need your courage, and we need those things to be harnessed for good. We need you to be solid pastors. We need you to be strong leaders. We need your voice. We need you to bravely stand up for the most vulnerable, to stand up for women and children and for the unborn, to raise a respectful ruckus for the things that matter. We need really strong men, and porn makes you weak.
Porn makes you weak. If you are a man who feels offended by what Allie Beth Stuckey says, there's a good chance you're exactly the kind of man she's talking about. A weak man. Can't handle a woman actually telling you the truth at a campus event. I had no issue whatsoever with this. And you know why? Because it wasn't a church. Big difference between a church environment versus a campus event of someone who was invited to speak at that event to young people. And I feel like we are getting stuck in the weeds so much these days. You are attacking a woman, a godly woman at that, by the way, for standing up and doing what's right and calling to attention something that actually does destroy men. I've spoken about it a number of times on this very show, believe it or not. Porn destroys men, destroys masculinity. It objectifies women. Feminism has also destroyed women. It's made them weak. Porn has made men weak as well. Feminists, or feminism in general, has also made men weak too. It's made them very frustrated and very angry. Feminism is dangerous and harmful, and so is pornography. The very addiction that I tried to get rid of almost destroyed my life, destroyed my relationships, the way I viewed the world, the way I saw women, how I acted. It was horrible. And I think men need to know that they do matter. And if a woman has to say it, so be it. But don't discredit what the woman said because she's a woman. What she said was accurate. What she said was truthful. But instead of actually amplifying that truth, you want to have a go and say that she shouldn't be talking or preaching, which she's not doing. I, for one, would be the first one to call to attention. Okay, if she was in a church and she was doing this in a church, big difference. But she wasn't. This woman, so you have the dingbat Pearl Davis going, sometimes I think women made up religion as a way to manipulate men. And this is the same woman that said that porn has saved marriages. I don't know if you're aware of the statistics, Pearl Davis, but the statistics of those men that watch and are addicted to pornography, their marriages are not healthy, just so you're aware. they're quite damaged. In fact, a vast majority of relationships are damaged from corn. You know why that is? Because there's so much variety. And now that you have so much variety at your fingertips and your brain is now rewired. And so you want to constantly go back to something new. Your brain is not designed to have that kind of imagery all the time, at all, in fact. It wasn't designed for that. And in fact, it destroys the way you see the world, the way you see yourself. You have body dysmorphia. You're constantly comparing yourself. You know how I know this? Because that was me. And in fact, some days I still struggle with it because of what I did. And to have so many people attack Allie Beth because she said what many fail to say or dare not say, because apparently it's just a man's only issue to talk about men with. And I'm going, how many men do you see that are talking to men only about this problem? Not that many. There are some, for sure. But pornography doesn't just affect men. It affects women too. And Allie Beth, all the things. And notice how that one thing was what started the firestorm. Notice how there was outrage at that one thing. Nothing else, that one thing. Because these men got so, I guess, convicted that they wanted to go on the attack. And even some women were going like this one, the reformed wife. I don't want my daughter to be like Allie. I want her to be a gentle, quiet spirit. What part of Allie is not gentle or quiet? Oh, because she's talking. You want her to shut up? I want her to live out exactly who God called her as a woman to be. I don't want her to be a podcasting, TV interviewing, pants, suit wearing conservative who preaches to men. Well, I will say to that this. Your daughter may not want what you want, so you best be aware of that. And Allie Beth Stuckey, as far as I'm aware, is a godly woman, and there's nothing wrong with her having a podcast. And I'm old-fashioned, by the way. I'm an old-fashioned conservative. I went to a Baptist church for years. Went to a private Christian school. Man, I am old school. But I got nothing wrong. In fact, some of the best teachers I've ever had in my life have been women. God talks about, guess who was a leader? Deborah, a judge, in fact. She was a judge. What about Esther? What about Ruth? What about Bathsheba? What about all these women that actually, what about Mary? Oh, it's because they didn't have a podcast. They weren't invited to speak, but their story is shared to countless people because they had the courage to do something, to actually use their voice, by the way, and carry out what God intended and asked them to do. Bathsheba taught her son Solomon, instructed her son Solomon. Hence why you've got Proverbs 31, in case you were wondering. Yes, that book was written by a woman, guys. Oh, men are not supposed to talk. Oh, women are not supposed to talk. They're not supposed to teach. It's not a church. So maybe, just maybe, get your Bible right and stop attacking people that are doing the right thing. You should be grateful. Allie goes, big. It was the woman you gave me. Energy on this app today. If you want to lead, lead. If you want to speak up, speak up. If you are worth following and listening to, people will. If you're not, they won't. Spencer Smith goes, the reaction to this clip has been enormous and profound. This is a classic example of why women preaching is not only unbiblical, but impractical and ineffective. She's not preaching, just so you're aware. Although what she said was correct, the fact that she is a female telling men to quit corn and step up and be men has not been received well. That is putting it mildly. Go view the quotes and the comments for yourself, which I did, and they're horrible. I do believe that female influencers are just female preachers pretending that they're not. Oh, boy. We are in a lot of trouble if that's what they think. A lot of trouble. The Insurrection Barbie goes, 1, feminism has failed women. 2, corn has weakened men. 3, merit matters more than DEI. 4, America was founded on Christian principles. 5, Jesus is the only way to heaven. Allie Beth Stuckey said these things, and now she's being attacked, not by the left, but by the very people who claim to be on the right. Not surprisingly, she is one of the leading voices for Christian women in America. The problem for most of these critics is that we don't say my truth, we say the truth, and his name is Jesus Christ. That alone offends a culture that worships self above God. When Allie Beth Stuckey says sin is real and the Bible is an optional, it shakes people who want a faith that never tells them no. Even some who call themselves Christians can't handle that kind of conviction. And let's be honest, they hate that evangelicals like Allie won't bend to the culture. She's not chasing approval. She's building something real. Her conferences fill arenas with thousands of women who are hungry for truth. That kind of impact drives critics crazy. They can't match her influence, so they attack her motives. They say she's too loud, too opinionated, too confident. What they really mean is she can't be controlled. Let me get this straight. She said, corn is bad, men got mad, women got mad, that men got mad that women got mad. How does this end? You know how it ends? When people start to realize that Allie wasn't preaching, she wasn't teaching, she was speaking truth. And some people may go, what? I got offended. Get offended. Take it up with God. But she didn't do anything wrong. And if she did do something wrong, I'll be the first to call it out. I got no issue with going and seeing a woman speak at an event. No issue. I do have an issue, however, of a woman in a church preaching to me or teaching me in a church. That's what I have an issue with because it's not biblical. Follow the Bible. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. Be blessed. See you all in the next video.